Precisely. And once you learn how to do that, then you can bring in all the stakeholders and you can get into programs that'll help you and train you on how to build it. But that first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America, we do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally. And we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, again, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about and language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow. Send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard. And Lloyd is here, he's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Welcome to Startup on the Blocks. We're excited to be here. I'm riding solo this evening. Next week, we're going to have Greg Shepard, and he's our partner with our Startup Science training program. So look forward to having him. But we're here today, and I'm excited to kind of share some knowledge and help founders all over the world, take advantage of the startup ecosystem. So that's what we're here for tonight. And you can use the chat to ask any question, ask me anything, and I'll share a document in a little bit here again with if you need some ideas for questions to ask and to move forward with your startup or how to leverage the ecosystem to kind of grow your startup. First, we'll get started with giving a big shout out to our sponsors that are supporting programs that all the stuff we do with founders all over the world. And so we want to show our appreciation for them and thank all those that are already online making comments. And glad to have you out there, David. Definitely don't hesitate to ask any question. Marcel, glad to see you out there as well. But one neat thing about the startup ecosystem, there are a lot of supporters out there, and like these partners and sponsors that we have here. And so what we like to do is get folks connected, founders, entrepreneurs connected with all the resources that are out there in the ecosystem. But first, we want to train them on the best practices for building a startup. Feel free to post questions in the chat at any time. I'm going to cover a few things, and then we'll get started with the questions. So let's go here. Yes, and so just a little bit about me. I spent the majority of my career developing technology while working for the Air Force Research Lab. And I retired from there back in 2012. And since then, I've been doing startup stuff and nonprofit stuff full time. And I learned a lot about the startup ecosystem, and so that's what we're here to share. And one of the things when I tell people or other organizations what we're doing for startup founders and even other startups, they actually want to help. So that's really a neat thing to realize that when you're trying to do something, there are organizations and there are founders, there are startups that are out there willing to support what we're doing. And I call it startup founder best practices because you never can be sure what you should do. So you should learn the best practice, that other founders do, in order to take advantage of these of the startup ecosystem. And so here with this program, our startup founder best practices, we got this started back in 2020, August 13th, and we've been doing these sessions every week, except for the holidays, of course. And we only missed one session in the last almost 4 years, and so we're here every Thursday night. And I had a gentleman, you know. If you, what I recommend to everybody is that if you're interested in networking every Thursday night, or if you're interested in, if you got some stories you want to share as a founder, we'd love to have you on the program. Or if you're an ecosystem organization, we'd love to have you here. But basically, what we do is we kind of talk to founders and learn their journey, learn their experiences, so they can help you understand how to navigate the ecosystem. Yes. And so, like the thing said, I've interviewed over 200 founders, and I've learned a lot from that. And I participate in half a dozen or so startup programs. I say that, but it's probably a dozen or so. But and I've leveraged it for funding and training, and a whole lot of in-kind services. And so you can do the same as well. Alrighty, so let's see here. We like to talk about the as a founder, you have to kind of know what's the journey of a founder, and so that's what we're trying to show here, just so you can kind of understand the process of the phases that you actually go through. So we use the Startup Commons to kind of show that, and one of the insights that I learned throughout my startup journeys was that a lot of the programs, help. There are a lot of programs that cater to folks out here that are already up and running, but there are also programs that are out here helping you back at the idea stage, and so you can leverage these programs no matter which stage you are. And so we leverage the Lean Stack platform that's by Ash Murray, and he's the one that invented the Lean Canvas, and he's one of we leverage this program heavy. So so that's what we want to share here, and I'm going to break down that process that program actually takes you through. So let's see. David got a long question here, so if I can just get it to show. For some reason, let's see, there it is. Yeah, so he's interested in my background and want to connect. One of the biggest thing that he's facing is that idea is for a global market. That's big. That's neat. The idea is supposed to connect the world. Two of my partners are in Pakistan, and I would always wonder if I'm just spinning my wheels. So that's and a lot of times founders do spin the wheels, so don't. So he says when you go to local networking groups like the chamber and other groups, so he's saying he thinks he's spinning his wheels when he goes to like the typical networking groups, and definitely can address that. How to best utilize local groups, and what should I be looking for with other people in the community? Wow, that's a great question, David. So locally, I'm on the local chamber board, a member of both chambers here locally, and I do network with the chamber folks. And that's for understanding and learning local resources. But as a founder, what you want to do is you want to find the networking groups that startup founders network in, and whether they're online or whatever. And so what I've noticed throughout the past more than 10 years now, that every city has a startup ecosystem, and that typically they have events on Thursday night, and that's why we do our event on Thursday night. So they typically have networking, and then they have breakout sessions for, depending on if you're interested in marketing or raising money or AI. And everywhere I've traveled all over the world, that's the way it's been. But a startup founder is a little different than a, a, a typical small business that may join the chamber. And startups do join the chambers, and that is a neat place to network. But if you're interested in leveraging the startup ecosystem, you have to attend the events that are hosted in the startup ecosystem. And so that's it, that could and most likely is different than a chamber networking um, uh, event. But the way I utilize those local groups is it's just to be aware of what's here in the community, what resources. So like I may go to like, for example, go to a networking event, and I learned that here, like for example, here you learn about the local resources. That's the advantage of doing that, and you will be surprised at the local resources. And so I think that's the best way I can answer that question. But feel free to kind of, if I didn't do a good job on that, feel free to post some additional thoughts on that, David. But I really appreciate the question. And the number one, the way you leverage your startup ecosystem is to realize that there is a startup ecosystem. And so what you want to do is, most major corporations have startup programs. So you Google Microsoft for startups, you Google any major company and see what startup program. And most software companies have a program for startups. So if you want, uh, uh, see if IBM has a startup program, IBM for startups, Oracle for startups. Any product you can kind of. It's just when being a startup founder, there's it's different than being a small business owner. When you become a startup founder, you get the access to more in-kind service than that a traditional business is not even available for. So I'll stop right there for that. So okay, so feel free to, like I said, to if I didn't do a good job, just ask me to be a little bit, go dive deeper on something. Yes, okay. Okay, so what have we got? Yeah, but realize the startup ecosystem is worldwide, and most startups sell themselves short by just looking locally. It's like, yeah, I'll like I said, I'll go and some more stuff should come out later on that. Okay, so in the Lean Stack program, and just to be a little clear here, so we use this continuous innovation Lean Stack program. And so, and it's free to founders. So if you're a founder, you can get access to it. And so the it has these levels that you go through, and so like the first level is the foundations, and you learn how to design a scalable business model. Then you have this second level where you're actually doing demand generation, and it's like a validation thing. And then third, this solution customer fit. So then on and on. But what the deal is there's milestones as you go along here, and that's what I want to show you. And these are some new charts that Ash just published recently. So basically, you start off at the idea stage. you go through these. The next thing is you have goals for your startup. So you set up minimal success criteria, and then you do for based on that goal, you have to understand some things in order for you to reach that goal. And so, depending on the pricing of your product, and also the size of the market that's available for your product, and then if after you get your stress test your idea, your business model here, you achieve this model founder fit. And then at the second level, you went through the business model design training, and you got your model founder fit. And the next thing you want to try to do is in the 90-day lunch program, where you cover these three milestones. And so the first one is customer problem fit. And so that milestone, what you're accomplishing there, you're understanding the problems that the customer has, and they're using other products, and so you want to see what they're still missing, and what they're still trying to do. So that's where you actually find what's still missing, and then you create a solution for that, and develop or you design a solution for that. But you don't build it yet, and then you create an offer, and then you if that mafia offer works, then you will achieve this solution customer fit. And then at the next level, let's see if we get this to go. You're now you're on your way to achieve this product market fit, and that's what most people think about. This is the level 3, and I guess 3 of our mentors, including me, we're taking this level 3 training to help founders get through these phases here. So the takeaway here is that when you're a founder, and you're on your journey, you have to reach these milestones, and so it's kind of like giving you a guide, so you're not out there wandering aimlessly trying to figure out what to do next. And finally, the startup science shows the phases, the life cycle phases that a startup goes through, and what you should do at each phase, and sort of train you, on how to do that. So this training also is available to all founders for free, and the deal here is there some tools in this training as well that help you with any question you might have as a founder. And so there are so many things you need to learn as a founder, and this program teaches you all the terms, how to calculate all those things you need to calculate, and how to fill out applications that are in the startup ecosystem. And so the guy that Greg Shepard, he created this program. I think he spent over $500,000 and still spending money on this. But what the deal is, he had went through 12 exits, built 12 different companies, and had 12 different exits, and with exits totaling up to almost $1 billion. And so all that knowledge is there available for you to kind of take advantage of. So that's kind of looking at the milestones that a founder has to meet, the phases that a startup goes through, and so when you're taking advantage of the ecosystem, the first thing they're going to know what problem you're trying to solve, and how and how far are you along on those milestones, and what help you need to get through all the different milestones and the phases, and you pitch your business model of what you're building in order to get help to build it. Yeah. So I'll take a breath there. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask them now. Yeah. So just wanted to make sure, that kind of understand what we're doing here. Let me show one more thing here before we go. So as a founder, David, this kind of plays along into the question you were asking earlier. So as a founder, what playbook should you follow? And so this is the playbook that we suggest you follow in order to take advantage of this stuff. Okay. Is it everyone's strategy to have an exit, or do some people hold? Okay. So the exit strategy, you can it's your startup. You decide what you want to do. Now, if you decide that you want that, like you're building something and you need help to build it, if you can leverage your customer growth from sales, or if you can scale based on your customer sales, then you don't have to worry about a strategy, or if you can borrow money based on what the growth of your startup. But if you want help from an investor, then you got to have an exit strategy. Or exit strategy could be having an IPO. But either way, that's because if somebody invests in your company, or they're going to want to know how get when they wanted to know when the liquidity event is going to happen. I think that's the simplest way to say it. So like if you're talking to an investor, they want to know what your exit strategy. So that's the way that works. So that's the advantage of networking with other founders and participating in the startup ecosystem. You can easily understand it. So I've had founders that are having interviews with investors, and the investor asks, "What's the exit strategy?" And you say, "I don't have one," then that investor is going to run away. Yeah, and so that's what the idea is there. So you may want to have an exit strategy so you can take the money out of the company because you may have another idea that you want to fund. You may want to sell it so you can go build your next thing. And so a lot of entrepreneurs, they like to build stuff. And so, so that's the simplest way I can answer that. Keep the questions rolling. That's the way you get it. And out of self-founders lose opportunities because they don't understand how the ecosystem works. And so let me finish this slide and just to because they kind of summarize what the deal is here. So the first thing is you have to develop a founder's mindset, and so that's because you have to understand what it is to be a founder, and if you want to leverage the startup ecosystem. And so this is the first thing was getting just understanding. So you got to get your mind right, and so a lot of stuff about being a startup founder is different what we've learned over the years. So that's why it's important to do it. And Sam Altman did an audio a playbook about being a founder, and it sort of can give you an idea what's that. And then you have to have understand the lean startup methodology, and the purpose for that is if you're building something that requires a lot of innovation, you have to have a method for doing that, and the entrepreneur method, and then follow the lean startup methodology there. So I tell people when I work for the Air Force Research Lab, we develop technology and develop weapon concepts, and most of the projects that we did, we were building something that had never been built before. But as an entrepreneur or as a researcher, what you do is you follow the methodology, never mind that it's never been done before. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're following the lean startup methodology, and you want help to do what you're doing, that's what they're gonna expect. And you have to learn the skills and knowledge, and that's why this third one here is here. We use the Lean Stack platform to kind of teach you the business model design and how to launch your startup. But Y Combinator offers a startup school. We offer, the startup science platform, and so that's the way that goes. And now the next most key thing is you have to be known in the startup world, the startup ecosystem. So there are sites out there like F6S, number 4, and other sites, Crunchbase, LinkedIn, or whatever. But these startup sites, you create profiles, personal profiles, and you create your startup profile. But and you document the growth of your startup. If you land a new customer, or if you complete a program, or you reach a milestone, you put that in your profile, and that way the ecosystem folks can kind of help. They see your progress you make, and you become credible. So that's the well, and I say join startup communities, and so your local startup communities, and there are plenty of startup communities that national and are worldwide. And so you just have to realize they're out there, and you have to try to get in them. And so, like the Kokorian said, we're a nonprofit, but we also a member of startup communities as well, because we help build tech talent for startups and stuff like that. So I want to show you an example of a startup community here. Let me find my thing here. So I'm going to share my screen. I want to show you a couple of examples of startup communities that the Kokori Institute belongs to. So this is one, Goody Nation. They're out of Atlanta, but they work with startup founders, Black and Latino founders, and so they have stuff for founders. And so you can have your company your company profile, progress reports. You can get advice. So they leverage a system that allows you to connect with experts all over the world to get advice. They have opportunity database that opportunities that are coming up that you can apply for. They have a library. They have a director of all the other founders there, and discounts, and this is pretty common. So if you're a startup, you should be getting software at a discount, or getting it for free. And so this is an example of a platform that they use that gives you free software, in-kind software, discount software, and there's lots of stuff out there like that. And so that's one other example there. So, and then you can list your products and some of these things, and but it's just a great way to learn and get access to resources. If you have questions, you can network with the other founders as well. We're also a member of the Black Innovation Alliance, And so we can network with other members there all over. We have courses, workshops, and all kinds of things that we can leverage to kind of move forward. So let's see what we've got here. Okay, so what's this question? I went to the link on step 3. Was it cost a role in a school? So, let me give you the link to get access to some of the stuff through Kakura Institute. I think that's all these things I'm showing you here are free. So let's see what we can do for you. I think I got some links here to kind of help you out, Irvin. Okay, so let's see. Can I copy this link here? So here is a link to a document that has a bunch of links in it. So some important links. So take a look at the links here. And let's see, copy one more for you. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's my accent question. So, but this is the link for, let me get this one here for you. So this one right here has the links, and I apologize. The other one is some of the questions that you may want to ask. So I'll open up. Let's see. I'm just gonna open up one of these here. So which link did you go to, Irvin? Okay, so I think if you were trying to get to Startup Science, so here's a good link for that. I'll paste that separate. I'll take it out of the document I just did. And so if you want to get to our version of Startup Science, you can go to this link here. Startup School, that's by Y Combinator, so I don't have any control of that, but that is free as well. Yeah, but the reason why you want to go Y Combinator, the reason why you would want to go to Y Combinator is because Y Combinator has been doing startup stuff since probably almost 20 years now, and they're the largest accelerator program. And so that Startup School kind of gets you connected with them, but it's based on their approach, to do it. So the stuff I'm telling you about is free to founders, and so I don't know if I ever paid for something for founders. It's like you look. There's so many free opportunities. Why would you pay for stuff? That's kind of the way I feel about it. So let me show this right here. So this is the let's see, can I make it a little bigger here? So in the doc link I shared. So if you want to know the stuff we offer, is on this Get Started page, and then if you want to join our startup community, this is the link to do that. And for our events here, and then we also have an opportunity database. And what that means, that would be a good question to ask. But there's so many opportunities out there for founders, and the Startup Science program. And the reason why you want to know that, it's going to everything you need to learn as a founder is in that program. And so here's a sign up link for that. And Black Founder Program, you can go to this link and fill out that. We're going to announce our upcoming, cohorts, and so you can actually get in that. And the other thing you want to do as if you're a Black person, you want to join Blacks in Technology, and they have a bunch of stuff for founders and a bunch of stuff for educating to help folks get in the tech field. And here's a link for there. And if you're in Florida, here's the link for the program that one of our sponsors do for founders
in Florida. So that's thought I'd share that. Okay, what you got? When it goes to the tools tab, there's nothing there. I was looking for resources that you showed me on Tuesday. So let's see what you got here. So I'm gonna pull that over here real quick. Okay. So I'm gonna go to the founder thing here. Okay, so are you talking about this tools tab here? I might want to make sure I understand it. Are you saying you don't see anything here, JD? JD? Yeah, let me know if, okay, clicked on founder savings. Okay, let's click on founder savings. Okay, so so you're saying you don't see anything here? So yeah, definitely, you can message, see, whenever you run into something like that, you can message me and I can get, make sure you actually have access to it, but you still should have access to it. So let's see, I was looking at something here the other day. I just want to do something. Yeah, so definitely, whenever you run into a problem with something, just make sure you reach out so we can get it corrected as soon as possible. So this is a tool right here that I use, and as a let's see. Okay, so what this, if you're having trouble getting access to something, so like let's like, so my thing definitely is supposed to be unlocked here. So if you have a problem with it, just let me know and I can get it straightened out. And so all of these tools are actually free now. So I just need to make sure they update this portal. Yeah. But there's no shortage of places that give you these in-kind services. So like on that, let me show you here. So when, like, for example, when you go to F6S, they got tons of these things here. This is not the only so these sites are everywhere. So don't hesitate if you're having trouble finding something. Always reach out. Okay, yeah. So, but the point I want to make here, as a founder, and you have access to resources, you should definitely reach out. If you're having trouble with something, if email or text is no big deal. Especially to reach out to me, and I can get the platform stuff corrected. And so all of these things are free. So I have to now I have to go reach out to make sure that that they're not, the stuff is unlocked, and they may have just forgot to unlock it. But see, Irvin, the reason why you want to go to this particular thing is that as a startup founder, you get to learn all this stuff. But the way it makes sense to you is your startup, you have this profile, and you can share this profile with your teammates. You can share it with investors or mentors, so they can help you get through the process. But what's neat about this tool is that as you go through the training, you actually you're actually filling out this profile. And so that's what's neat about this. And all these tools, all these things, like these marketing things, it tells you how to do all of this stuff, and the tool actually is supposed to calculate these things for you, but it also tells you how to do it manually. All these terms that you would potentially get asked by an investor. So earlier, let's see, who was that? David was asking questions and stuff like that, but all of the terms that everything you need to know to speak with folks to get help is literally in here. And so, and all of these trainings are, like less than 10 minutes for each class. And so that's what's neat about that. Okay, good. Alrighty. So yeah, we'd be glad to have you. Feel free to continue to ask any questions. So I shared a document earlier. Let me see. Can I get to it? Get my thing going here. Give me a second. Okay. So keep the questions coming, and I'm going to go into the Ask Me Anything right now, and it's up to you all what you all want me to cover here. In this part of the thing here, so we were talking earlier, what programs do we offer? That's in the link of the sheet, the Google Doc I shared. So I'm going to keep showing these questions here until you all ask a question. Yeah, I'm open to any question. All right, so this I'll go through some of the typical questions, and then if you have if any of these things pop up, just feel free to ask. So, what is an innovation? And a lot of times, folks they have an idea or an invention, and they think that it has value, and it may have some value, but in order for an idea or invention to become an innovation, it needs to be validated. Creating some new value that doesn't already exist. Yeah, and so that's the key thing you have to think about there. Yeah. Okay, let's see. And so an idea or an innovation, an idea or an invention, it has the potential to be an innovation. Okay, and so a lot of times folks ask me, what is a startup? And so this is kind of what the definition of a startup is. So you're a team of entrepreneurs, and co-founders, and they all have equity stakes. Okay. So, and this is the expanded definition. A startup is an entrepreneurial team with an innovative idea designed to search for a repeatable and scalable business model with a target to grow fast in a big or fast growing market. So yeah, so I think that's a lot of folks, want to be startups, and they think they're startup. But so the key thing here is that your business model has to be able to generate repeatable sales and has to be scalable. And so when you look at the stuff I'm showing here, this is what you're doing here in this first phase. You're designing a scalable business model, and you're actually pitching that business model. You're not pitching your product or service or idea. You're pitching your business model, and how that's what That's what the deal is here. And so in order to, so it's imperative that you go through this training, because it tests us once you build that, once you start working on that idea, you want to make sure that you stress test it for viability and feasibility. And that's what that training takes you through. Because if you don't do that, you may spend years working on something that's not even viable, and you don't want to do that. And so let's go to the next one. So why startups? So there are, they're the optimal vehicle for creating innovation. And so in order to bring value to customers, you have to innovate, in order to do something new or better than what they're already doing. Yeah. So what is a founder? Okay. Alrighty. So what my definition of a founder is, and it's pretty simple, and this is in the context of the startup world. So a founder is an individual that has an idea, and they start working on a scalable business model for that idea. So they identified a big problem that needs to be solved, and they start working on a scalable business model for it. That doesn't mean they've quit their full-time job. They could be a student, they could be a laborer, they could be a secretary. It could be anybody. But the key thing is that they've discovered a problem, and the problem is a big problem, and they want to start working on it. And so the minute you start working on it, you become a founder. And the minute you become a founder, you are eligible for all the resources in the startup ecosystem. That means in-kind of free software. That means you can get into training programs that teach you how to be a founder. That means you can enter pitch competitions and win money. That means you could literally leverage the ecosystem to fund you through all the phases of your startup. As you travel through all these milestones, as you go through all these phases here, as you go through all these phases here, and this is the lean stack, lean startup phases that they have here, but it's mainly about the milestones that a founder needs to meet. And so this curve here is a 10x curve, and that's what scalable means, that you can grow your customers at a 10x rate, or you can grow your revenue at a 10x rate. And what's so neat about the lean stack training is that it actually teaches you has the tools to teach you how to do that, to actually do that. Alrighty, so any questions? Okay. Way to go. Okay, Irvin, that's good. And but yeah, that definition of a founder, what it tells you is that you can start leveraging resources as soon as you start working on your idea. And here's another good question: does a startup need to have a license in Florida as a corporation, LLC, or nonprofit? Okay, let's go back and look at something here. Let's see which one. I want this one. Okay, let's see if we can see how to answer that. Okay, so if you're just ideating, do you think you need to form of form of business or whatever while you're ideating, but some resources that are available to you as a startup founder, they may require you to already have a business license or whatever. But typically, um, you don't really launch your startup, until you, I don't know, till you start maybe generating revenue. But this is kind of, you have to be careful here, because some startup programs, they'll help you in at these before you launch your product, but they may, at a minimum, they're going to expect to see a website or something and to see some evidence that you're working on a product. I can give you an example of what happened to the cognitive big data systems. I started working on it in 2014 as an idea, but I didn't really incorporate it until we were ready to receive some funds. And that was over a year later. And in the meantime, I had uh, participated in several startup programs and had earned free stuff from Microsoft. And the reason why I formed the business when I did, and we're at a 10th anniversary, and this is when I had the idea 10 years ago. But we didn't form the company to 2015. And the only reason we formed it then was because we needed to accept a check for $25,000 from a startup program. And so this one you have to be a little careful about here when you're doing. So yeah, but that's kind of what my answer would be to that. So okay, so this is being recorded, Irvin, and so you will be able to go back to LinkedIn or Facebook and re-see it. So you're good there. Okay, alrighty. So let's see what we have here. Let's see what I got here next. So what are some founder best practices? So this is a neat question here. So if you're a founder and you just have an idea, what are some best practices? Or if you're a founder and you're trying to raise money, what are some best practices? This question, you can ask this question for no matter which, where you are on this, through this development phases. So what are some best practices at -2, -1? What are some best practices? And that's why you participate in the ecosystem, so you can actually learn what are the best practices. So yeah, so my recommendation is, let's say if you're back here at the idea stage, one of the best practices that you can do is, whatever idea you have, is go through this business model design training and stress test that idea so you don't waste time later doing it. So that could be a best practice. But what I think of as a best practice is no matter what stage you here are, from a -2 to a 3, leverage the startup ecosystem. That's the #1 best practice you can have, because no matter where you are, the ecosystem will support you. And so you just need to learn about the opportunities in the ecosystem so you can actually get through all the milestones and the phases that you need to do. So lean startup methodology, learn that, but learn what you need to do depending on what phase you're at or what milestone you're trying to reach here. That's kind of what the opportunity is. And so Yeah, and so best practices is know what milestone you need to reach and when you need to reach it, and how do you reach it and leverage the stuff. I could go on and on about this, the best practices. Network with other founders, attend weekly networking events. That playbook that I actually put up here is kind of what my idea of some best practices are. And so the advantage of following this playbook is that the minute you start documenting your journey as a founder, and you're doing it in these sites like F6S and Crunchbase, you the startup ecosystem starts sending you opportunities. The opportunities come to you. You don't actually even have to go look for them. So that, and last week I was telling you all too, is like, let's say on LinkedIn, one of the best practices you can do is you can follow the entrepreneur support organization, entrepreneur and innovation support organization. So the best practice there, all these organizations that support startup, find their LinkedIn page and follow them, and they're going to post opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. If you do just that, you will end up with opportunities in your feed, every day. And if you sign up for the newsletters from these ecosystem folks, they're going to tell you about as many opportunities as there's no shortage of opportunities. And even us, we actually have an opportunity database that we maintain. And in that database, we try to have as many startup programs as we can find. We have as many pitch competition as we can find. We have as many in-kind services as we can find. We have investor databases, grant databases. That's what's all the stuff that's actually out there. So those are some small things. So like even on Instagram, you all these, they post on Instagram because so you can follow these same organizations on Instagram. You can follow them on Twitter because they let you know what opportunities they have and when they have them. And so that's how you actually take advantage of them. But in all these opportunities, you have to fill out an application. And how you know how to fill out an application? You go through these training programs, and it teaches you how to answer all the questions in these applications. Yeah. Okay. So any questions, anybody out there? So that's one idea about best practices. The ecosystem is just a bunch of organizations that help founders. If you're trying to build something, there's an organization out there that's trying to help you. That's the attitude you should have. And they're typically, you can go, what are some entrepreneur support organizations? What are some innovation support organizations? There's an innovation ecosystem, and the startup ecosystem, entrepreneur ecosystem is a part of that. And just said, so the best way to leverage the startup ecosystem is for you to understand how to answer the questions that the startup ecosystem wants to know, and what problem you're trying to solve, and make sure you can articulate that really well. How big is the problem? How big is the market? If you, all the terms, customer acquisition costs, cap table, all of that. But the beautiful thing is, we offer you the training for free that you can learn all these terms. You don't have an excuse for not knowing what the terms are. We give you access to the material, and so that's how you really leverage it. Is the startup ecosystem speaks a certain language, and just like the question earlier about the exit strategy, you have to understand what that term means. So when somebody asks you that question, you know how to answer it. Okay, So we have Kukui Institute. We make our training materials available to anybody, but we also have a Black Founder program. And so that Black Founder program is to as we get our funders, the fund cohorts, the fund for we did a Black Founder Innovation Summit last month, and in conjunction with an innovation tour from the Black Innovation Leaders of Florida. And so our sponsors, they funded all the registration for that. And we had 92 people attend in person at $100 each. So but we also have services that we provide for Black founders. And we, if somebody wants to leverage that some of the services and they have the ability to pay, we will take it. So let me kind of show a little bit more about our Black Founder program. Okay, so let's see here. And does anybody got any questions? Because we're running close to time here. I just want to make sure. I'll put the link in here to this whole thing. This was the thing, our summit thing. Let me see. I'll put the link in here so you can actually get access to this information. But this link right here will take you through to the registration page for some of which already happened. But anyway, there's a link in here about our Black Founders program. And so it kind of gives details of what that's all about. But so we can help you evaluate your business idea. We don't charge the founders for this, but we ask for our sponsors to kind of do that. And so we leverage some of the chat GPT tools for that. We also, if you need information about the market, so we can provide you a market research report for that. If you need to know about the technology related to your startup idea, we can generate a report for that. So we partner with PitchBob for this, helping you out with this service, and PitchBob generates all the startup documentation that you need. Pitch deck, business model canvas, investor deck. It teaches you how to articulate what you're doing, so people will understand it. And we will start offering, weekend boot camps of probably at least 3 to 4 hours, where we can kind of go through give you all of these things up here. And so that has a value. And this is, we get sponsors to sponsor these things. And so, and this is what I was telling you about the Black Founder Innovation Summit. We got sponsors to sponsor that. Our business model design training that the founders get for free, that's just to get access to it, that's worth $250. To get all the workshops, that's worth $2,500. And the Startup Science platform, just to get access, that's worth that. So through our sponsors and partners, you're getting this stuff for free. And so that's what you have to learn. So that's what our Black Founders program is. If anybody's got any questions on that. All righty. So are there any more questions? So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But like I said, there are plenty of opportunities out there for founders, and we're here to support you. So just realize that, and you should it's a good opportunity to be a founder, and so to get help to make a difference in the world here. So next week, like I said, we're having Greg Shepard, and you really don't want to miss Greg. Greg has, like I said, built 12 companies and had exits on each of the companies. And so you're going to, so definitely mark your calendars and be prepared to attend next week. Thanks a million. Let me check one more time. No, I don't see any more questions. So we appreciate you all, and thanks for joining us. See you all next week.